Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I've got a new addition to my bike squad. This time I got a bike that has a saddle that you can actually sit on. I didn't have an on-trails oriented bike for the last 6 years, and I was thinking a lot of getting one just for the fun of pedaling once in a while, and of course so as to build a more versatile bike that would be good enough to ride and do some basic tricks on. So I got this beauty. It's the first version of the Pivot Point, and it's a 26-inch hardtail bike. It may not be a brand new bike, but it's exactly what I was looking for, and I would like to thank my friend Yannis for this one. I really think that this one is the most versatile bike I could get, as it may look like a dirt jumper, but it has swappable dropouts and can be transformed to look like a mountain bike. So given that I was riding cross-country mountain bikes when I was way younger, I decided to get a bike that would be both capable of riding off-road and at the same time be playful to do some of the tricks I like. Also, given that this one has swappable dropouts, it means that I'm not really stuck with just one bike discipline, and I can experiment a bit to find the best setup that fits my current needs and riding style. Yeah, I know that this one will never be a great bike for the most of the mountain related bike disciplines, but for the time being, it's the best option I could possibly have to experiment with a bike that is not made just for trials. So what I'm planning to do with this one? I don't really know. The first thing I'm going to do is to turn it into a more proper mountain bike, using some parts I had laying around from my old cross-country bike and upgrading some other parts with some more modern ones. But I'll leave these upgrades for another video, as I'm still a bit undecided on what I'm going to do. For the time being, I think that the best I can do is to take it for a ride and remember how it's to roll around on a bike. Another reason that led me to get a non-trials bike is that I was looking for a more fun way to train and strengthen my legs. You may already know that I do run occasionally, and also if you follow me on social media, you may have seen me training at home, doing plyometrics, squats, etc., so as to get more explosive. However, I had really missed riding a normal bike, and I think that training on this one will be quite beneficial for my trials riding, as it will strengthen my legs by focusing on the actual pedaling move. Be sure that I'm not going to stop running or doing my home workouts, but I think that adding another form of leg training is going to help a lot. Also, riding a mountain bike can be very good for my bike riding endurance, and this will be so beneficial when I try longer lines on my trials bike. Anyways, I really believe that adding a new riding discipline into my training routine will be so good and fun. Additionally, another benefit of riding different bikes is that you become more adaptable to changes, and this is a skill I think I almost lost since I stopped riding my street trials bike, which by the way has to be repaired soon, as I really miss riding it. But let's focus on the new bike now, and we're going to discuss about my street trials bike in the future. Okay, after having my first ride on the Pivot Point, I think that the first thing I have to change on this bike is its transmission, as having a fixed gear ratio won't work if I want to hit the trails. Also, a dropper post would be great, as I don't really need this saddle all the time. And last but not least, I need a front brake, as not having one was quite strange. Nevertheless, I'd like to be frank with you, and these issues were actually expected, as this bike is built almost as a single-speed dirt jumper. However, it felt so good, and be sure that soon it could be transformed to what I had on my mind for a really versatile bike that can easily handle mountain bike trails and use for doing some of the tricks I love. Now that I have presented my new bike to you, I think that it's time to take everything apart and start building this bike project. However, I want to keep this video fairly short, and so I'll come back with some more videos of the progress of this bike build. So I believe that you know what you can do in case that you want to follow along as this bike is getting transformed in what I have in my mind. But I'm quite curious, do you like my new bike? What do you think I should also replace or upgrade to make it more versatile? I'm so excited that I have a new bike to experiment on, and be sure that I'm going to share with you guys whatever I'm planning to do with the Pivot Point. So that's it for today guys, and I hope you also enjoyed today's video. Thanks so much for subscribing and watching, and until next time, have fun riding your bikes. Bye!